Maybe you clicked on this video because you're stressed every single week. You're having to constantly ask your teachers for extensions on your projects. You have some zeros on assignments. Maybe you miss class pretty often. Sometimes you sleep in whenever you're past when the class starts. Maybe you stay up late, always trying to finish assignments. Am I describing you? Well, watch this video. Use these principles. These are things that will make you a much better college student. I've broken this video series down into 3 different parts. First, the beginner level. The second is the intermediate level. And the third is the advanced level. Go figure. The first step that you can do is do not turn any assignments in late. Try to stay 3 days ahead on all your assignments. As we progress into the higher levels of being a student, you'll look further out than 3 days, but just start by not turning in late assignments. When you turn in assignments late, here's what happens. You think, okay, I'm gonna have more time to do this project in the future. And then the future comes and you're not ready. You didn't have more time like you thought you would because you still have all 7 other projects due. Say you're on project number 1 and there's 8 projects total. Okay, you think if I don't turn in project number 1 on time, I'll have more time. But here's the thing you're not thinking about. You're gonna have all 7 other projects still due at the same times. And your mind goes, oh, I'll have more time later. Not how it works. Don't turn any assignments in late. Stay 3 days ahead as best you can. Number 2, use your weekends. Start getting things done before the week gets going. This makes a difference because usually you're not as stressed on the weekends, or maybe not as stressed, but your time isn't as jam-packed as maybe it is during the week. You don't necessarily have to be in the classroom doing things. And if I've noticed that people who use their weekends really effectively were usually much less stressed Monday through Friday. And it sounds like a lot to do school on the weekends, but if you start doing that, you'll notice there's just kind of this second wind that you'll get whenever you're doing school and it's not due later that night. And use your weekends. You don't have to necessarily use all of your weekend. Just have some time in the weekend where you're going to do school, and that'll get you just not really focusing on the pressure of it's due later today. And you'll be able to, for me, I really learned a lot more when I was doing stuff on the weekends because, I had more time to do it. Number 3, put all your notes in one place. Maybe you use electronic notes, maybe use paper notes. I'm a big electronic note guy because I use OneNote through Microsoft, and I can perform a search on all of my different notebooks that I have. And it really helps me because I did a bachelor's degree in pastoral ministry, and I'm able to go back through and look at my notes on the book of Ephesians. I'm able to look at my notes on the book of Revelation, even though I haven't been in that class for 3 or 4 or 5 years, but I took notes electronically and it's saved on a cloud-based system. Whatever you use, make sure your notes are in one place. If you're going to use a spiral notebook, use one notebook as best you can for your classes. I know that that's not a perfect situation, but try to keep your notes in one spot. That way you're not going to lose as many things. When it comes time to study, you're going to sit down and be able to get right to it. Notes in one place will make a big difference. Number 4, work on procrastination. Notice I said work on. You're probably not. No, I know you're not going to be perfect at this when you start. Whenever you're going to put something off, ask yourself, why am I going to put that thing off? And then develop a plan. That's a big thing with procrastination. A lot of times when we procrastinate, it's not because we want to be pressured by a deadline. We just didn't plan when we were going to start the project. So if you have a plan, you have a plan on when you're going to start, when you're going to stop for whatever different assignment that you're doing. That will really help you with procrastination. Also, when you're procrastinating, when you're putting something off, it's really helpful to decide to do the smallest thing you can for that assignment. If you're putting off doing a reading assignment, well, just sit down and read 3 pages. Tell yourself, I got to read 3 pages, or I got to read 1 page, whatever it is. That will help you. Also, whenever you're procrastinating, you got to remember it's a delayed gratification issue, and procrastination, it has secondhand effects. Kind of like smoking, you can hurt somebody else if you smoke next to them because they can get secondhand smoke. It's the same with procrastination. You will hurt your family, you will hurt other people around you if you always put things off. If you have a kid and your kid gets sick and you have a procrastination problem and you never take them to the hospital, you're hurting your kid. use the opportunities you have in school so that you can stop procrastinating and you can become the kind of person that you need to become outside of school. And it's not just a problem that students face. We face this problem as humans. Number 5, use a calendar. Keep your personal events lined up with your school events. It's really easy to have the things cross paths and you have to say, oh, hey, James, I can't hang out with you because I didn't do my school assignment on time. Whatever the case is, if you use a calendar, I use a combination of paper and digital. I've been using digital for probably 3 or 4 months, and it really helps me line up if I have lunch with somebody, with my school, with the other things I have to do, say sermon prep. The digital calendar is really helpful, and I can also access it from my phone. So if somebody says, hey, can you help me with, moving on this day? Usually I can just pull it up on my calendar, see what's going on. And then I use paper for school. So paper is like school, and then certain work events go on the paper calendar. And then those go from the paper calendar to the digital. That's just a hybrid system I'm in. I feel like if I only do digital, one day I'm gonna lose it on a cloud or something. I don't know. I'm just a little skeptical there. But I use a combination of the two. I am becoming more and more trusting of the digital calendar the more that I use it. And it also lets you color code if you have the right calendar. I use Fantastical. Whenever I started using my digital calendar, that was the best one at the time. But it looks like all the other calendars have really updated in the way that they work. But you need to have a calendar. You need to know not only what you're doing, but how you're spending your time throughout your week so that you can improve and so that you can be the best student you possibly can become. This is the beginner video on how to have a stress-free college experience, and we're gonna put the different points in the video description. You can just take a screenshot of it. Don't try to do all these things at once. Try to only do 1 or 2 at a time, because if you try to do too many things at once, usually none of them get done because you're too watered down. But guys, use these things and you're gonna have a stress-free college experience eventually. Watch the intermediate video to get the next steps to have the stress-free college experience.